Bear really needs little introduction. Safe to say he is a former 21 SAS soldier who went on to become one of the youngest ever climbers of Mount Everest. From there, he's gone on to host more extreme TV adventure shows across more global networks than anyone else in the world. Bear is a man accustomed to pushing his body to extreme limits and has shown us how to survive and thrive in some of the most incredible locations: deserts, mountains, jungles, you name it. He's also a well-known family man, a #1 best-selling author, and the youngest ever Chief Scout to 30 million worldwide. So it's with huge excitement that as a team and at Bear Grylls Ventures, we bring you the Bear Grylls Survival Race, and what we believe will be the most challenging and empowering obstacle race ever devised. So I'm going to start with a little teaser video to give you a snapshot of what to expect. Great, I'm going to welcome Bear up.
Hey
So
guys.
we're going to have a short introduction.
Listen, I was very nervous about doing that introduction, and that was amazing. Guys, first of all, just say thank you so much for all coming. It's great to see a few friends as well. James, nice to see you. One of our nation's greatest athletes, a man who does this sort of stuff before breakfast and before going training every day. A man who I know, love and admire. I've got Ian Howard, who's chairman of the Triathlon Association in the UK. So great people, and I really want this sort of whole obstacle race and you know, survival race we've put together to be a real family feel of great people. And you know what really drives me in my life is building community of like-minded people who love the outdoors, love adventure, love pushing themselves, love that sense of achievement together. So I really kind of, as I said, I want this to be a family feel. So thank you all for coming. I want to build a great team of ambassadors. You can help me with this over time. I want to put some great like-minded people together for this. But I do kind of feel that we're all in the same business, which is about encouraging and inspiring people to get outside. You know, from young kids that we all encounter in our lives who kind of want adventure, they want to get off their PlayStation and off their iPhones, but they don't always know how to do that. To scouts that are out there actually doing it and building expeditions, to people who's, you know, by necessity have spent too much time in an office but want to still challenge themselves, to then the ultra athletes of our nation who really want the next best thing, bigger, better, tougher. But this really came about because I suppose so many people came up to me over the years and said, you know, we've done this race, we've done that race, but you should do something in this space. And whether it's people who've gone through our Survival Academy that Paul's helped me put together, that now runs in 30 different locations all around the world. But so many of the people, as you know, Paul, who've come through that say, oh, it'd be great to do a challenging kind of obstacle race rather than just the survival stuff that we've now done. To scouts who come up to me and say, what about doing it? And so it's always been in the back of my mind. And then a few companies of the, you know, people who are already in this space, you know, big companies came to us and said, what about doing sort of BG licensed sort of race? And it's always tempting to do these things because you think, oh, that might, you know, that'd be a good business or whatever. But we've always said no. And I've learned in my life the most powerful word in my kind of work world is to say no. And we've said no for a purpose, is that I don't want to just kind of brand a race and put that out there. I want to do something that is really sort of authentic to what we do, about endeavour and adventure and survival and fitness. And I think the obstacle races traditionally have all been about fitness, but I know from the wild it takes a lot more than just fitness to stay alive. You've got to be on your wits, you've got to be resourceful, you've got to be fast, you've got to have balance and poise and power and strength and then endurance. And it's this sort of balance and managing the calm in the storm that actually really matters. So I thought if we do it, that's how I want to do it. I don't want it to just be about kind of like for shorts and stretching and and then you get kind of gimmicks kind of that surround it often, and I didn't want it to be like, I want this really to be about community, adventure, survival, all wrapped up in something that is obviously physically challenging. And then it's about putting the right team together, and we've done that, and Mark from Run for Charity has been amazing, and Paul, you've been such a huge part of it, and you build a fun team. And we've brought in all of my filming team, ex-commandos, ex-SAS buddies who I film with, putting the TV shows together. And we've sat in enough sort of jungle airstrips over the years, waiting for airlifts in and out, scratching our head, thinking, what would be really cool? What is nobody doing? What are none of these Spartans or Toughmans doing that, people I know would love? And it's a little bit kind of tickles the belly of danger a little bit, but actually we could pull it off. And all of my crew love this part of it, putting these together. We've been quite secretive about what a lot of these things involve for a reason, is that we want it to be really fresh for people when they do it. It's a bit like the UK Ninja Warrior, you can't tell them too much, otherwise people prepare too much. But that's the kind of fun part, thinking on your feet fast. So that's the history of it. I've got two clear goals with these races. The first is to provide a series of races that are family friendly. Okay, so whether you've got a young kid, and I meet them a lot, age 4 or 5, that kind of want to imagine they're swinging across ravines and there's jungles and chasms and caves and crocs and all of that good stuff, that they can do something that isn't patronising. It's not plastic and red and sort of geared for kids. It's actually geared for adults. We just scale it down. I want to do something that's great for the 8-year-old kids, that actually I meet some incredible 8 to 12-year-old kids who they don't see themselves as kids, and they're almost not kids. They're strong and they're determined, and they can do stuff that most of my friends can't do. So we want to provide a race for them. I want to provide races for the mums that often see their husbands going out and they're kind of doing this stuff. But as I've learned from the island, with the Women's Island, with Mission Survive, the shows we've done, women are incredible, and they can often be tougher and better and gnarlier and fitter and stronger. And we've seen this, time and time again, incredible, women who want to be pushed and push themselves, through to then the ultra athletes that are the nation's best, the Jameses of this world, who really are doing incredible stuff, but we wanted to push the bar. And the way you push the bar is not just by it's always easy to make things longer. You just go, the longest marathon is now 50 miles or 60 miles, and I don't want to do that. I want to make stuff, I want to condense it in and be hitting people from all angles, continually. So we've devised this Ultimate Survivor race. It is, I believe, and I don't pay it lip service, the delivery of this will, I believe, be one of the toughest obstacle courses ever devised. And there's a strong chance that out of the 1,000 places we've limited to, there's a strong chance no one will finish. But you know what? Great! Because it's a start.
And make mixture.
So what we've done is a weekend, okay, so where the Saturday is a real kind of family experience. And again, I've done enough of these kind of races over the years, sort of anonymously, and watched them, from the sides, and kind of seen a lot of the loopholes. And a lot of the time, families turn up and the dads are doing it, the mums are doing it, and the kids don't know what to do, and they're bored, and he's bored, and then there's queues, and and it's actually not always that satisfying an experience. So the Saturday for us, we really want to be almost like a fitness adventure survival festival, where you can have good healthy juices, and you can have something to eat, and you can hang out, and there's music playing, and you've got all these kind of different zones, from survival stuff to all the latest fitness thing. And meanwhile, the heats of all of these races, from the kids, the middle kids, to the mums, the adults, running. And it's a real fun just place where I could turn up with me, Shara, 3 boys. I've got Jesse, who's 11, Mom, who's 8, 9, and have a grade 6, and we'd all have a great time. And then and then a bunch of spectators. And then on the Sunday we run this ultimate survival race that is the monster one. So that was the first goal. That's a real festival feel. And the second is that I do want to be at the cutting edge of this. I do want to push these boundaries a bit. I don't mind if nobody completes a race, and I don't mind if they all want their money back. I don't mind about this. I'm not doing that for that. I'm doing it because I love this sort of thing. I love pushing people, and people like to be pushed, and they like that sense of achievement. And the motto we've done for this is strong alone, stronger together. Because there are a whole bunch of incredible athletes in this country who kind of thrive off that endeavour and that focus, and this is my sole goal, and I'll do my office job, but this is what I'm motivated. And that's great, and they're strong people. And I want to give them a forum where they can really push themselves, not just breaking their marathon time or whatever. I want to, hit them from all angles. And at the same time, I want to cater to the stronger together, which is such a great vibe when you do it with your teenage son or your friends or your buddies from work or whatever it is, and you can help each other through all this stuff, and you look like a wreck at the end of it, but you're smiling. And one of the TV shows you do is called Running Wild. It's where I take lots of well-known actors and stuff away. And I always say to them beforehand, I'll keep you safe and I'll keep you alive, but you might go home with a few scars and a few scrapes and a few bruises, and that's okay. And people kind of like a bit of that. So the goal is to deliver that. But at the heart of it all is endeavour. That's really what this is about. And I think if my sort of brand or business or TV shows or books or races or anything can stand for one thing, it's that life sometimes hits you down. Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in all avenues. We often get hit down. But it's not about being the biggest or the bravest, from the kids to the adults to the ultimate one, to be hitting people, boom, left, right, centre, boom, down, boom, and for people to get back up, and to teach your kids this, and to teach the ultra athletes, show them this is actually where we distinguish ourselves in life. Because not all of us can be as brilliant as someone like James, or have these kind of natural abilities, but all of us can develop this spirit of screw you, I'm getting back up again. And I love that, and that's what I really want to see emerge in people. So that is kind of the story. If anyone's got any questions,
yeah.
I'll try.
Does anybody have any questions? We've got about 10 minutes. So.
Yes. Hi, hey, nice to see you. How are you?
I hope you like the feature.
No. Yes.
I just
this lady's endured one of our epic training sessions with the Marines the other day. And she turned up with all of these very hairy-ass bootneck commandos who looked down and one woman should die. She showed them all. She showed them all.
I just wanted to ask Bear, what exactly will the obstacles consist of? What kind of things will people be doing? Can you tell us?
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
Because we are going to keep the secret. But
any hints at all? The kind of things.
It's going to be the stuff that. So we'll have the race and we'll have the obstacles, but we're also going to have kind of survival challenges along the way.
Will they be similar to the things that you do in your programs?
Yes. So the point is they're modelled on the skills required for me to survive in the distinct terrains that I find myself in: jungles, deserts, mountains, swamps. But some of them might take you 10 attempts to get through, and it's about, the race is obviously, especially the ultimate one, is going to require a certain amount of endurance. But the kind of survival challenges along the way are going to require mental agility, resourcefulness, speed, power, balance, calm in the storm, being able to think as things are, happening fast, So it's kind of almost looking for the ultimate Indiana Jones meets Bond meets Bourne meets James Cracknell, meets, do you know what I mean? Meet all these things, you've got to have it all. And that's why there is a chance that people might not always get through this.
So,
but it's always easier to scale stuff down.
Instead of, whereas with things like Tough Mudder, for example, you're scaling holes and things like that. Will we be doing things like drinking urine, maybe? Or?
Well, I don't. It's easy for us to dress gimmicks around stuff, and I don't want to do that, And we've been really clear about it with this from the start. It's not about, you know, it's about stuff that really challenges people. We might have a few fun things right at the end, you know, before you hit the buzzer on the timer. You know, there might be a few fun little things like that at the end. But the heart of it is going to be about testing people's, you know, all of these different facets of a survivor. And the show Mission Survivor I did recently, you know, I kept banging on to the guys, is that the strongest and the fittest are going to win this. You know, I'm looking for that mental strength and that positivity and all of these kind of softer skills that actually really matter in survival. So we'll be testing all of this sort of stuff.
And roughly how many obstacles will there be? How many sort of challenges that people will face?
Well, again, it varies over the different courses, but it's not going to be kind of, you know, crazy. It's going to be, they will have a logical kind of feel to it. You know, you're going to be running for a bit and then doing a thing, and then the survival challenge, then another obstacle. So, you know, you'll recognise it, but it's just what you're doing within that recognition is going to be new. Yeah. James.
So yeah, in some of the other guides or whatever the other ones are, that I guess the fun obstacles create a massive bottleneck, and so for the percentage that actually wants to race it, then you come to an obstacle and
yes,
it's an obstacle
and
in one
pain
thing,
in the arse,
but it's
I see it so
actual,
much, yeah.
You end up queuing, which I think for a race organiser, planner, that's how do you manage to?
Yeah. Well, the
stop
answer to that
happening?
is one of the things we've done in the last few years is just watch and learn and kind of figure out where the mistakes are, you know, and that is one of the big kind of things that people, you know, struggle with, and you're right. So it's a big thing we've addressed, and we've done it by doing heats of races, and it's not kind of 10,000 people setting up at once, you know, especially the festival one. You know, you pick your slot during the day. You know, Johnny, age 6, is going to start at 10:30. That will give Mum can look after him, and you know, so you can plan your day a bit depending on who's racing, who's not. So it'll be a whole series of heats. So we are not all starting at once. Also, we're limiting the numbers because you know, again, it's not purely driven by money. This, do you know what I mean? I want this to be a great experience. So I much prefer to really invest and give people this amazing experience where they're not experiencing bottlenecks and stuff like that, and they just have a really fun time. And it's amazing actually how freeing that is, because everything we do in our life is driven by money. You know, that's how most businesses run, because it's not our driving force. It really genuinely isn't. I want to just give people a great experience with this, and that makes it so much fun, because I've done it before where we've done other things. People go, oh, that's going to be very expensive to put that on, or this, you know, and it limits so much of the fun. And I figured, you know what, let's just do a really cool race where you just give people an amazing time. They're not having bottlenecks, and yes, that obstacle was quite expensive to put together, but it doesn't matter, you know, it was great. And we'll figure it out from there. So the goal, you know, in this year is really to provide that. There'll be a learning process, there'll be a bunch of stuff we probably get wrong, and it's why I do at the same time say I wanted to have that community adventure feel, you know, where, you know, like hopefully the scouts are going to come and help man a lot of stuff, and, you know, I see it often with the scouts. It's amazing what you do when people feel invested. Do you know what I mean? We don't pay the scouts anything for when, you know, I go around scout camps all the time. You know, I see 10,000 volunteers, all these things, nobody's getting paid. They're doing it because they care and they want to give young people a great experience. And there's a great vibe in that. So I do really, again, I don't pay it lip service when I talk about this adventure community. You know, we'll get things wrong, but we're in it together, and let's figure out how to make a really fun race that inspires people. You know, and I said at the start, we are all in the same business. It's about, we all have an opportunity to change a young generation, to get people outside. And I don't meet any kids that don't want to get outside, ever. I don't care whether they go to the toughest, you know, back end of Glasgow and toughest parts of the UK. People want experiences. What we lack is opportunities. So if you can provide opportunities, you can raise money for charity, and you can keep the prices low, well, hopefully we're all going to have a fun time in it. You know.
And how many finisher t-shirts are you making?
Well, I want to do
for the everything. 1,000 people to start.
Yeah, no, we've done 5.
A couple.
We've done 5, and I've signed them all. But we've got, you know, and again, it's one of the things that's fun. Rather than just kind of, everyone does a medal or a t-shirt. I've got so many fun ideas. I want to do, I'm not going to tell them what I'm going to do, but I want to do really fun things that matter. I mean, one of the things I have to do with our celebrity guests on Running Wild, at the end of it, I give them a carabiner. And you know, I've been hanging them off it all day, and they've been jumping out of helicopters and everything, and they've depended on their life all day. And I give them a carabiner, it's scuffed by this stage, it's covered in whatever. And I say this is always given to young commandos when they pass their mountain leaders course. It's a symbol of friendship, brotherhood, strength, you know, loyalty. Stick it on your desk, and when you're having a crappy day, just remember this. And they love it. You know, it's like, it's great, So, and I like that vibe. So I want to be doing things like this and actually have a purpose. I don't want to just give people a certificate and a T-shirt, and So we've got so many fun ideas like that, and it's not all. It comes from the guys I work with who kind of live and breathe this with me every day. And you've been a bit in that vibe with, some of the guys, the Daves and all of those people. And it's a fun part for me.
How do you take the intimidation out of the experience? Okay, let me
Such a good question, yeah.
Because I've got mates and they do these wonderful things. Like, I'm not exactly up on their level. So how do I break into this thing?
Yes.
How do I?
Well, the answer is this.
Because you've got kids, you've got your mothers, and you've got everyone. Just how do I get involved?
Okay, I'll
How
tell
do
you.
I start to begin this process?
Okay.
Get fit and stop eating more.
You'd be fine and you'd thrive. And the answer is often by example. And I bring my whole family along, and they're all, I've got Lizzie and Lily and all these people who kind of aren't, they're not all athletes and stuff. Well, Lizzie certainly knows that. But I mean, do you know what I mean? I've got Dale doing it. I mean, Dale's just giving up his Subway things, and You scale it is the answer. So I've got the 4-year-old kids and the 7-year-old kids, and we do these different races, and I'd throw you into the 5K race and you would absolutely love it. And the thing is, it is a competition, but you're not proving anything to anyone apart from yourself. And we're all on a journey. And honestly, people often think that I'm kind of mega athlete. So I look at some of these, James and other people, and I feel so intimidated. I really do. We all feel a bit like that, whatever level we're at. I mean, James was telling me this morning he just ran the marathon in 2 hours 50 minutes. At age 42, and I was hoping. I hope James doesn't ask me my marathon time, which was 5 hours. I was dressed as Madame Trinky in a sort of stupid. But do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about our own journeys, and it's not about where we start.
How do you explain that barrier breaking? That's the point.
So the answer is just do it. Just do it. And there will be a race geared for you, and there's a race geared for Lily, and there's a race geared for Dell, and there's a race geared for James. And we pick the one. And my challenge to people is always push yourself a little bit more than you think. But there's certainly nothing to be intimidated about, because if Johnny age 4 can do it, his race, we can do our races. And it's like all these things. People say to me, how do I get fit? Or how do I, it's just, as it's about beginning. Just beginning and going for it. And the fun part of these races is it takes people out of that comfort zone a bit. We'll take the ultra athletes out of the comfort zone, it'll take you out of your comfort zone. And it's good because it's not a zone, it's a pit. It's a comfort pit. You've got to get out of it as quickly as you can, And this is where we build a community where we're all in it together at different levels, but with the same goals: empowering, bettering ourselves, challenging ourselves.
Sorry.
Let's go on. Yeah.
So the competitive element of the race, with this, is it an individual challenge, or with the Stronger Together thing, does that mean it's going to be a team event, or is it just you're expecting
Well, I think
people
it's
to be
the fun thing is
mark
it's
in?
both, because I love so much of the vibe of some of these other races over the years where it was never a competition, it's just about competing, and I love so much of that because it's so right. But I think you can do both. It is a competitive event, and that you are strong alone and you run it and you break your own time or you break your buddy's time, whatever it is, and that's great. But also it's so fun. I'm personally just doing it with my family, and I'm not trying to thrash my 7-year-old kid and beat him into the ground. I just want to be helping him over cool things and swinging across stuff and jumping and getting muddy, and I just want to do that together. I don't care about the time, I just want to do it together. So the goal is, I think you can cater for all of that, and that's why we run quite a lot of different races and run it over the weekend.
So it will be completable as an individual if you.
Totally, yeah, and mega competitive at the top level.
We've got a couple more questions.
Yeah, let's just go. Yeah,
Sorry.
I will come back.
Go ahead.
It's great you're kind of trying to foster this sort of can-do and competitive spirit among young people in particular. But do you ever have any concerns that that's something that's not being sort of pushed or fostered into schools these days for young kids? Do you think they need some of that? Your kids, for example, do you push that for them to be more competitive?
My kids want to do it, and they're not everything. It's why the Scouts are growing more than ever before, because it gives kids that opportunity. It's why survival academies, are expanding so fast, because it gives people an affordable, fun way of getting outside. So kids want to do it. It's why the PlayStation is so popular, because they're imagining they're jumping over the chasms and flicking over this and swinging off that, but they're doing it through this. And therefore it's a natural aspiration for kids. We all know this. You think your nephew or your godson or whoever, they would love it. but it's about the opportunity, and that's why we want this to be accessible and also affordable for people, and achievable. So, you know, kids are desperate for it. Yeah, I mean, see it the whole time, see it all around the world and stuff, you know, and it's only going to get worse. And it's not school's fault because they're busy trying to get people through GCSEs, do you know what I mean? But it provides us with an opportunity to, you know, to fulfil that a bit.
Got the launch event in October. What are the
How are you? Obstacle Race magazine.
Good, thanks.
Editor of that. Great magazine.
What's the plan for 2016? For the series?
God, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. Well, the goal is to do it. So we're doing this magnificent thing first with you as a little tester in July, and then we're doing this weekend thing, obviously in October, where we give you this whole spectrum of experience. And you know, we much better do less well and then build on it, and then we'll expand that in 2016, and then out of the UK, and you know, we've got some pretty fun plans in Asia and in America where, you know, all my stuff kind of works, and you know, but I love doing it in the UK because I can get involved with it and I can involve the scouts and all of this. So we want to do it small, really build that foundation well, and then we'll partner with good people and we'll build it up. And then, you know, God willing, or it might be a huge flop, which is the other, you know. And the thing is, you've got to sometimes fail, you know. And listen, I'm not scared of that at all, you know. And I say this to my kids the whole time. It's okay. It's okay. But if you don't risk anything, you don't gain anything. You know, we've got to go for it. And I can't do it on my own. I need help. And come along and bring your friends. You love it.
Great, thank you.
Good. Your final one, yes.
For the ultimate race on the Sunday, how can you prepare for it? Do you need to? And will the preparation it calls for be different to normal athletic training? For
Yes, you can prepare for it. In the set, you know, yes, you can prepare for it. You'll need to. Are we telling people distances or anything? No.
Distance, yes.
Will there be a training program that you
Yes.
give to people?
Yeah, there will be.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's been written at the moment.
Have you any idea what kind of things that might involve, or can you not reveal?
Yeah, it's all about, if you look at our epic training business that we do, our fitness business, it's all linked in and geared towards this. You know, we've trained together like this. Short, sharp, high intensity, functional training. You know, I mean, classic example, we just brought on a couple of trainers for our fitness business the other day. And they arrived like this, and like, yeah, I met them and stuff, and they wanted to come and work with us. I said, you know, big, you know, and their first workout, they're swinging their 32 kilogram kettlebell. Yeah. And now, every months on, they never train with more than 16, and they're like ripped and strong because they're now, instead of just lying on the ground, you know, going like this with their sort of kettlebells, now we get them up, you know, doing them like this, and it's great because it's all core functionality, and you know, so the training is much more like that: high intensity, functional, body weight, dynamic, power moves, speed moves, and combined with endurance. And the classic example is I used to run a lot. You know, I used to kind of love it. And then I started training like this. It was much more like we did the other day. I don't run at all now.
Yeah.
But when I do go running with friends, I'm so fit. It's because my VO, whatever it's called, is so good now. My heart and lungs are so strong because of the HIIT training, this high intensity training. So the answer to your question is that type of training, that body functionality is key.
So it's
because you're going to be swinging off things. You have to hold yourself along, you know, whilst doing something else, you know, trying to upside down, and you know, you got to have balance and poise and be able to control your breathing under, you know, slow it down for things and all that kind of cool stuff that matters for me in the wild. I mean, classic example of what I have to do in a desert. I did the other day. So reach a big desert canyon. It's like, you know, 200-foot drop, and it's from here to there to get across. And I've got an old hemp rope that I found and an old mountain lion trap that was from like the 1880s, you know, that I found. So I'm figuring out, okay, hold on. So I've got to get the rope across, but then how can I secure the rope to make it releasable? I've got the animal bone of this. I can do a trigger, and if I use a paracord from my shoelace and trail that really small, like a set of releasable triggers once I'm, you know, and I'm thinking like that, and I'm at the same time I have to swing across these things, swing my leg up and over, and balance while that's falling, and I love that part of survival. You know, where it's not just like, you know, you've actually got to kind of think on your feet. So it's going to be a little bit more like that sort of stuff.
What will it give people mentally completing this challenge? Because obviously races like Tough Mudder, Tough Guy gives up people a lot physically, and they also talk about, you know, the kind of confidence boost, etc. this is on another level because it involves survival and using different techniques.
Well,
What do you think people will walk away from psychologically after hopefully finishing it?
Well, it's the same with our survival academies. On the surface of it, you know, it's about empowering people with skills that will save their life. But do you know what people really get out of it? It's that real sense of pride, you know, and I see it with kids to adults, and money can't buy it. You know, you have to earn it through blood, mud, sweat and tears the hard way. And it's what, you know, I experienced in the military, I experienced in the Foreign Legion, seeing these guys with tough backgrounds, they go through hell, and, you know, and the price is 1,000 barrels of sweat, they used to say in the Legion, but at the end of it, it's that sense of pride and accomplishment that actually, you know, you're made of something stern. It's what people loved in Mission Survival when I did that show. You know, there's no prize at the end of it. You know, same with the island, there's no money at the end of it. It wasn't about that, it's about being able to look yourself in the mirror and go, you know what, push comes to shove, I'm okay. And we all want a bit of that affirmation, and if this race can push people and, you know, we can complete it and we're stronger together, well, we're all winners. Guys, just to say thank you so much for coming. Was that all right? Does that make any sense? But yeah, thank you for coming and come along for the race and bring your friends and hopefully it will work. But it's I'm excited, I can't wait. Thank you.
Thanks.